Okay, so firstly, I want to thank Michal Liba for bringing the Rebbetzin, Rebbetzin Ivy Kalazan. Thank you so much for doing this for us, and thank you to Michal Liba. So Rebbetzin Kalazan teaches in Masores High School, Rebbetzin Bulka Nee Seminary, Elyon Seminary. She previously was a teacher in Neve and Me'Ohr Seminary. She currently lives in Brooklyn, Baruch Hashem, with 5 kids. Her passion is teaching Taamei Hamitzvos and passing on Kiruv learning material to the Frum world. So with that, you have to unmute yourself. Thank you so much. You're not unmuted. You just have to unmute your button. How do you unmute your button? Are you on a computer or on your phone? Your phone? Your phone, so you have to, can someone explain to the Rebbetzin? Because you were speaking before. Just go into the unmute button.
The phone is at the left bottom button.
At the very bottom.
At the
You
end.
see it, Rebbetzin? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to come and learn with you. It's such a special program that you have here. It should be a schus for every person who's on and for all of Am Yisrael, the time that people spend for all of us learning together. So I was thinking that we are in the middle of the 3-week period right now, and we all know that the things that we're working on are loving each other and ahavat chinam and giving and doing and not being negative. And the question is, how do you do it better? Because we all want to be positive people, and we all want to see others with a positive eye, and we all want to speak about others in a positive sense. And very often we really do. And we are very loving and giving. And then sometimes we catch ourselves just being negative or critical, particularly to like family members around us and the people that we are most close with. And I think to be able to really work on any midah or any area in our lives, we always need to get to the root core of what causes us to do what we do. And what I'd like to do for the next half hour or so is kind of learn together from a Torah perspective, what psychological mechanisms do we have within ourselves that cause us to do positive speech or negative speech? Because we know that the faculty that makes us unique from all other beings in the universe and all other creations is our words. And we do them so quickly and so automatically that we don't often give them that much thought. And I don't think any of us, we don't wake up in the morning and say, what a great day to like knock my husband. And like, I'm going to make my son-in-law or my mother-in-law or my daughter-in-law feel like 2 cents today. Like, that's not our goal. We want to build people up. And the question is, what drives us to do negative or positive talking? Because then if we understand it, we can, Be'ezrat Hashem, rechannel and redirect our speech in more positive ways. So what we're going to do is we're going to analyze or learn together a little bit about how we were created from the time of the creation of Adam Harishon. And we're going to use that to understand our internal mechanisms of how we function. So let's start from the creation of Adam. I usually like to give Makoros sheets.
Rebbetzin, do you want to share the screen? Do you know how to do that?
I was going to say the problem, I didn't realize when I was doing this that I was going to be on Zoom. I thought I was going to be on a phone. So on Zoom, I usually do share sheet. Let me see if I can do it on my phone. I usually do it straight from my computer. Give me one moment. I'm going to take a picture of it, right? And then share screen if I can.
No, maybe if she shares it, then we could put it on the chat maybe, and then What do you guys
Well,
think?
everybody can see it because I just made her the co-host.
Co-host. Okay.
Oh, great. Okay. I'm going to do it in English. Is that better? Best the sources? I have Hebrew or English. What would you say?
Do both.
Okay, it's two separate sheets.
Whatever's easier for you, Rebbetzin. Go ahead with whatever.
English probably is more beneficial for everyone.
Okay. I have the picture right now on my screen. I have to share screen first. Hold on. Let me see. I've never done this before, I think, on my phone that I remember. So it's going to take a minute for me to get it. I would have done this on my computer. Okay. Let me see if I. Does anyone know how to share screen from my?
Well,
I want to share screen from my phone. Anyone know how to get to share screen from here?
on the bottom, you have quite a few things, like where you have to mute, unmute, video reactions. So there is one thing
the
that
screen.
says share.
I want to
So
be the Machayev, I think.
see if you can say the share.
Tap the screen and you'll see it comes up on the bottom.
Thank you.
Naomi, you're muted.
Oh, okay. We'll be good both ways. Don't feel any
Easier to
pressure,
guide you if we
Rebbetzin.
know if you're on an iPhone or an Android.
It's on the right on an iPhone.
On my iPhone, it has a share icon on the bottom.
Okay, maybe one person should.
I think I'm getting it. Thank you all for your direction.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. But don't worry about it, Rebbetzin. Whatever is good for you, it's fine with us.
So sorry.
No, chas v'shalom. No, it's all good.
You could share your picture with Nomi on WhatsApp and then we'll put it on our chat together.
She doesn't have my WhatsApp.
I'm not
Complicated. Okay, not to worry.
Is that
there
it?
We go. Perfect. Okay. Amazing.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so if you look at the second source on the sheet, this is the creation of Adam Harishon. And I'm going to ask you to notice as we read it what the form or structure of man is. Number 2, and Hashem said, let us.
Rebbetzin, your video's off. If you can just turn your video on so we can see you.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you. So Hashem said, let us make man in our image, according to our form. Now, the obvious question is, who is Hashem talking to? There is no other human or being in the world, seemingly, to whom he's speaking. So there are two explanations. One of them is he's talking to the rest of the universe. This is day number 6 in creation, and the things that have been created till now are animals, insects, plants, fish, animals. Hashem is talking to every being in the universe and saying to them, let us make man, meaning man will include within him every other creature and creation in the universe. Man will have the power and courage of a lion. He can use that to attack and pounce and devour others. He can use that to be unbelievably courageous to stand up for truth. Man will have the zrizut and the quickness of an ant who never takes a rest and never takes a coffee break and is always like running to do his job. You can run to do amazing things and build in the world. You can run to be Hamas. So God, Hashem, talks to all of the universe and says, man, who is the final creation in the universe on day number 6, will be the culmination of all of us, of every other being in creation. That's one explanation. One other way of looking at it, say the Mefarshim, who is Hashem talking to? Who exists at this point on day number 6? No other humans, but the Malachim do exist. And therefore, Hashem is talking to the Malachim and advising with them, quote unquote. Rashi says, from here you learn the importance, even if you're a great person, to counsel and advise and ask others for their perspective when you're making choices or decisions. So Hashem is saying to the Malachim, let us make man in our image according to our form. So what that means is that there is something in the way we function as humans that is similar to Hashem and to Malachim. And the question is, what's the similarity? How are we like Malachim? How are we like Hashem? Well, let's go on in the pasuk. And they will rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of heaven, the animals, and over all the earth. What makes man unique is man, the last being in creation, will be the director over every other creation. We're the ones who are going to use the computer, use the car, use the money, use the animals, everything else. And Hashem created man in his form. In the form of Elohim, he made him. Male and female, he created them. So if we ask, how do we work as people? The answer would be, we work in a similar way as Hashem himself, and we work in a similar way to Malachim. Question is, in what way are we similar to Hashem? And what makes humans different than every dandelion, every bear, every animal in the universe? So let's take a look at Rashi. Hold on. No, not this. If you look at number 2 one more time, the Rashi right under the text, number 2, at the bottom, Rashi, according to our form, in what way are we B'Tselem Elohim, according to the form of God and the angels? To understand and to think or analyze. So Rashi is saying that what makes us unique is that we are thinkers, that we are people who like to understand things. A dandelion doesn't decide in the morning, today when I grow, should I do it in green or should I do it in pink or purple? He's pre-programmed and he just does automatically what he's programmed to do. A lion doesn't decide, this morning when I go and attack those deer, should I be like a little bit aggressive or should I be a little bit gentle? He has a wife and kids. They don't go in that direction. Why? They can't think. They can't analyze. When we go to bed at night, we're like thinking through in our heads, like, what am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to react to so-and-so? When we are in that thinking mode, that makes us uniquely human because only we have that ability to think, analyze, and make choices. And in that way, we are similar to Malachim because every other physical being, no car, unless it was pre-programmed by a human, no computer, unless it was pre-programmed by a human, no inanimate object has the ability to decide and make its own thinking choices, and only humans have that ability. So we know what makes us unique. We are similar to Malachim, and we are similar to Hashem himself. But I'm going to ask you to notice what the lashon, what the words of the pasuk were when it said that we are similar to Hashem. Which name of Hashem did it use when it spoke about our similarity? Number 2, let's go back to the 4th line in number 2. Hashem created man in his form, in the form of Elohim, he made him. Now we know there are many different names for Hashem. There's Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, there's Shakai, but it says when we are similar to Hashem, which name of Hashem are we like? the name of Elohim. So if we want to know how we work, we need to understand what that name Elohim means. And what does it mean that we're in his form? Hashem doesn't have a physical, corporeal being. How do you be similar in shape to something that has no shape? So we have to define these words more clearly. We know in Hebrew they're called Tselem Elohim. What is the word Tselem? We're translating it as form. What does form mean? So the Hebrew root of the word Tselem, Tzadi Lamed. Tzadi Lamed, tsail. Tsail is a shadow or a reflection. If you look at your shadow has the same outline as me. It's not precisely me at all, but it has a similar structure or similar shape to me myself. I move my arm, my shadow moves its arm. I move my head, my shadow moves its head with me. So there's a certain parallel structure to my shadow and myself, my tsail. How do you say in Hebrew? A camera. Matzlema, Tselem. Because a camera takes an image or a picture that is similar in structure or in shape or in form to the being that it's copying. So we are created B'Tselem Elohim, which means we are created with a similar structure, not just physically, because there is no physical being to Hashem, but the way we work internally has a similar structure to the way Hashem works. Now, one aspect we already just said is thinking. We think. Hashem decides. Hashem makes choices. Hashem is thinking. Every time I'm making a choice, do I say this? Do I not say this? Do I eat this? Do I not eat this? Do I go there? Do I not go there? I am activating my Tselem Elohim because I am similar in structure to Hashem, who is choosing, who is making decisions. But it didn't just say similar to Hashem. It said similar to Elohim. What does the name Elohim mean? I'm going to try to see if I can put this up on my camera without doing share screen. So I didn't. Hold on a moment. Are you able to see this at all?
Yes, just a little bit more. Put it a little bit more. A
It's
little
like
bit
At the
up,
bottom, yeah.
left, a little bit to the left.
this way.
No, the other way, the other way. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, and a little bit up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't see it as I'm holding
No,
it.
I know. Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
In the form of Elohim, we are created. What does the name Elohim mean? The two-letter shorish of the word is the letters Aleph, Lamed, Kale. Kale means power. Aleph, Lamed, all gods are called Els because all of them are things in the world that are sources of power. If you know about the Hebrew word ayil, an ayil is a ram. It's an animal that has a lot of power, that rams against things. So
Ivy, can you bring it a little bit closer to like towards your body? No. Like more to the, I'm not sure what it is, your right or your left, but like more towards yeah, keep going a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more even. Right. Perfect. Thank
you for directing me.
And raise it up a drop, which I'm sure your arm is tired.
No, next time, Belina, when I do this, I'm going to have all this on my computer. I just didn't realize that I was setting up for Zoom. Okay. But thank you for directing me. So we are created similar to Hashem because Hashem is El. He is a source of power, and humans like power. Now, animals also like power. Lions like power, rams like power, but there is a different type of El, of power, that we as humans enjoy getting. If you look at Trump, it's very clear humans like power. If you look at the boss and people out there who are big shakers and doers, we all like power. What kind of power do humans like getting? So if you look at the word Elohim, I'm going to show you two sources in the Torah, in Chumash, that both have the word Elohim in them, And in this case, it does not mean God. It doesn't mean Hashem. I'm going to ask you to look at the two psukim and to tell me what you think the word Elohim means in these contexts. Number 3. This is Lavan talking to Yaakov when Yaakov runs away with his family and doesn't tell Lavan that he's leaving. Lavan's upset. Lavan says to Yaakov, number 3, I have the ale in my hands to do evil to you. But your father's God told me last night, saying, beware from speaking to Yaakov, whether good or bad. Now, here, when he uses the word ale, he doesn't mean God. What does he mean? I have the ale in my hands to do evil to you. I have the power in my hands to do evil to you. So you could see already that the word ale means power. But what does the word Elohim mean? And I'm using the word not as Elohim because I'm not referring to God. It means something else. Look at number 4. If a man gives his friend money or vessels to watch, and they are stolen from the house of the man, if the thief is found, he pays double. If the thief is not found, the owner comes to the Elohim. To the Elohim, the matter of the two of them come. Whomever is found guilty by the Elohim will pay double to his friend. I see Ita, you correctly got it. In this case, Elohim does not mean God, it means judges. So when it says that we are created B'Tselem Elohim, it means we have a similar tsail, a similar shadow, a similar structure, a similar outline, a similar format in the way we work internally as God. Which aspect of God? The judgment aspect of God. Elohim as a judge. And this is why when we call Hashem by the name Elohim, we always are referring to him as Midat Hadin, right? Yud Ke Vav Ke is always Rachamim, and Elohim is always Midat Hadin. Why? Because the word Elohim literally means judges or judgment. So what type of what type of power do we as humans enjoy getting? We enjoy the power of judgment, of evaluating, of thinking, of understanding things. And this is why if a group of women get together on a Shabbos afternoon, you can sit and schmooze for 2 hours. What are people talking about? Well, where do you think is the best place to get the sale for this and this and this? That should actually not be discussed on Shabbos. But what's the pleasure of discussing where the sale is available? I can understand and I can chop and I can get where's the best place to buy this thing. What's the best way to educate your kids? Well, I like to analyze and figure out and understand, should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? That process of grasp, of evaluation is a pleasure for us because you feel a certain power of, I got it. I understand it. And if you ask, what is the power that judges have? We're saying that power, is the power of judgment. What type of power do judges have? There are actually, I would say, 3 main aspects of power that judges exercise. Number 1, they have the power to evaluate, to analyze, to judge. That's happening inside their head, inside their minds. And we enjoy even the process of thinking things through. When I'm lying in bed and I'm like analyzing, tomorrow, am I going to, should I make a shower for this new Kala who needs just the process of thinking in itself gives me a feeling of power. But after they analyze, number 2, then they give their sentence, meaning they verbalize it. They say, this person is going to go to jail, or this person will be innocent, or this person has to get a fine. They are taking the thought that they had, the analysis, and now they bring it into the world of words, of verbalization. Then somebody else goes and carries out their sentence. They have impact. They get the person to jail, or this person has to pay money, or this person goes free. They are really impacting the world. Every one of us is a judge. We love analyzing situations, we love verbalizing it, and we love carrying out and feeling the impact of our judgment. And even from the time a person is little, as kids, everybody enjoys the feeling of impacting things. It's a power. When you go to the children's museum with your kids, and the kid is like pushing the button, and every time they push the button, that lever goes back and forth. You say to yourself, what's so pleasurable about taking your thumb and pressing it against a button 20 times? There is no physical pleasure in that experience. So what is so pleasurable? Why can that kid stand there for 5 minutes pushing the button? Because the pleasure is, when I push that button, look at the effect that I can have on things. I'm making things move. When we're older, when we're adults, we like feeling like, wow, I'm a judge and I can impact the world and I can make a difference. Now, the question is that power of judgment good or bad? And obviously, the answer is, it totally depends what impact I'm having with the judgment I'm making, and what changes and what power I am impacting with. By the way, I should mention, the way we really show that we really stopped or grasped something is when I can take that judgment and verbalize it, when I can express it. If I can articulate something and I can discuss something, it makes me feel the power of like, wow, I understood it. When I learn for a test with my kids and I explain them a certain concept, and then I want to know if they really got it, I'll say to them, now you explain it back to me. If they say, I can't really explain it, I know they didn't really fully grasp it themselves. So verbalization, expressing something, means I really accept it, which is why it's so pleasurable. And that's why it's so like amazing to be able to have those DMCs, those like deep, meaningful discussions about like, oh, wow, you know what I think about myself, why I'm doing this? I think it's a trigger based on the trauma back from when I was a kid, to do what's so pleasurable about talking about that, because I feel like I understand myself better. Now, I can feel that power not only when I talk about myself, but when I talk about others. And when I can say, you know why I think my husband did that? When his mother used to do this when he was a kid, now, is that pleasurable? It is, because it gives me a feeling of power of grasp. Is it necessarily impacting the world and the other person in a positive way? Not necessarily. And that's the tricky aspect of judgment. We will get the pleasure of judgment, whether the impact is in a positive way or in a destructive way. We will still feel that pleasure of I am impacting and I am making a difference. So let's talk about the positive places of judgment. I see that there's a Kala in my community who I think could use some funds or some resources to be able to set up her home. I don't know if she's able to do it. What do? I'm an Elohim. I'm a judge. So the first thing is, in my mind, I evaluate and I say, you know what? I don't think her family has enough funds to cover the wedding. I analyze it and I think, what can I do? Maybe I should make a shower on her behalf. Then, number 2, I give my sentence. I pick up the phone and I start calling her friends, her people around that know her well. I say, hi, are you available on this and this date? Do you think we can organize a shower together? Then you carry out your sentence. You go to Amazing Savings if you're living in Brooklyn. You go to the store, you buy paper goods, you send out invitations. Now, at the end, what did I do? I built this Kala's home. So what did I just do? I took the pleasure of speech, the power of judgment, the power of understanding, and I created an effect in such a positive way. I got it. Or I have a shidduch idea. And I think, you know what? This girl is a wonderful young lady. She should really be starting a home. What do? I judge in my mind. I think about, oh, wow, I think her strengths are She's so kind of giving. She's so intelligent. I give my sentence. I pick up the phone and I call the family that I'm thinking it might be relevant to. And then I carry out my sentence and I help make the shidduch happen. I think that there is something in my children's school that needs improvement. What am I doing? I am making a judgment in my mind and saying like, oh, wow, I think this teacher really needs to be able to connect to the class in a different way. That's my judgment. Then I give my sentence. Now, how do I give that sentence? There are different ways in terms of verbalization. I can either go to my daughter's friends' mothers and start complaining about the teacher. Will that give me pleasure? Yes, because I'm feeling like I'm judging and I'm verbalizing and saying the words. But is that going to create positive energy of improvement? Not at all. It's just going to create a lot of upset parents. So I have to ask myself, when I carry out this sentence, what power do I want to have? So I can say to myself, you know what? This does need improvement. Baruch Hashem, I have the Tselem Elohim. I have the ability to judge and analyze and realize something is wrong. What can I do that will create a positive effect? Maybe I should take my words and speak to the teacher herself. And it's a lot harder. It takes a lot more courage. But maybe I should discuss with her what I think needs changing instead of discussing it with other parents. In that case, I can build my children's education. I can help build their school. Maybe I think that there's a general issue in the chinuch system that could be improved. I think there needs to be more hashkafa in the high schools, or I think so maybe I can call Torah Masora and tell them I have an idea about what I think will improve the educational system. That will help build education for so many people. I've taken my Tselem Elohim, my similar structure to Hashem's ability to judge, and I am impacting the world in a very positive way. On the other hand, I can use that same power and it can be so destructive. And that's when I need the ability to ask myself, before it moves from the judgment into the speech level, is this going to create a positive impact or a negative impact? And this is why Hashem anatomically built our bodies in a way where our brain is on top, then our mouth is underneath, and then our body, our arms and legs are underneath that. Meaning first I'm powering and judging in my mind. Then it can move into my power of speech, and then it can move into my action of my hands and feet. But I can have a filter between my brain and my mouth to ask myself, are these words going to create a positive impact or not? And this is why the Hebrew word for speech, dibur, also is the same letters as the word davar, divarim, things. Because when I am doing dibur, when I am expressing or speaking about things, I'm actually creating realities. I am creating things in their own right. How does Hashem create the world? Ba'asara ma'amarot nivra ha'olam. The world is created with 10 statements. All Hashem did when he wanted water is Yehi mayim, Yehuyu yamim. Those 2 words created water. When I talk about things, every word I'm saying is a concrete physical reality that is being created by those words. I need the time to slow my speech and ask myself, what power and impact will be created now by the thing that I just said? In Hebrew, a dabar is a leader. Because when I do divarim, when I'm speaking with dibur, I am leading the world. I am leading, it doesn't have to be the whole world, but I am impacting and leading what is about to happen. So let's talk about some practical examples. A family member of mine was doing me a tremendous chesed and driving me to a shir that I was going to. And in my usual way, I was running late. Now, the shortest way when you live in Brooklyn to get from East 15th Street, where I live, to East 35th and J and K is to go right up King's Highway, because King's Highway is a kind of a diagonal street, and it curves, and it just cuts. It's the hypotenuse of the right triangle, so that you get there just that much quicker. So here we are running late to where we need to go. The person's driving me, and instead of turning up to King's Highway, this person stays straight on Avenue R. Now, if I would have caught it before they continued straight, and I would have caught it right before the turn, and I could have said, you know what, let's turn here. Would that speech have created something positive? Absolutely. It would have gotten me quicker. I would have been more on time. But the person already passed the turnoff. Now, in my mind, I'm already making the judgment, which happens so quickly that you're not even thinking about it, like, this was the wrong way to go. We should have gone the other way, which is quicker. And my immediate impulse was to just say, you know, if we would have gone through King's Highway, we really could have done a shorter route. But then I stopped and I asked myself, because I was teaching this, are those words going to make this person, are they going to improve anything at the moment? We're not going to reroute it. It's not going to change the impact. All it's going to do is make the person who drove me, who's doing a chesed with me, feel 2 cents lower about what they just accomplished and feel a little less good about it. Do I really need to say it? And then the ability to just stay quiet and not express it is also an unbelievable power. And that is something I learned from my parenting teacher, Rebbetzin Spetner. Rebbetzin Spetner said, when things are happening around me that I'm trying to take control about, like I'm trying to how come my daughter-in-law is doing this? How come my mother-in-law is doing this? How come my kids are doing this? If my words can really be heard and impact, great. Say them and change and improve. But if my words are really not going to be able to change anything, she said, instead of enjoying the power of changing them, I enjoy the power of self-restraint, of self-discipline. I love that image. Meaning you're not feeling helpless, like, ugh, I just can't change it. You're feeling, I also have a different power. I have the power over my own self to be able to hold this thought or this judgment or these words inside myself and not let them out. And I just created something good by my shtika, by being quiet and by not saying anything. And I could feel equal empowerment as I had impacted the world through my words themselves. If you think about the Hebrew words, I love Hebrew language. For speech, dibur. Can you think of an insect whose name comes from the same shoresh?
Dvorah.
Devorah, a bee. Dibur and Devorah. Now, if you think about it, Devorah, a bee, she has so much power of creating honey, sweetness, things that will be creating such pleasure. And it has so much power to create pain through its sting. Every dibur that we say is a devorah. It will either sting the other person or it will create honey through what it is. Now, that doesn't mean that every word that I say will always be sweet to the listener. But the question is, will it create sweetness? Will it create improvement? Will it create goodness? If you look at the shoresh of the word dibur, you will find Hebrew words which come from that shoresh, which mean totally the opposite of each other. Dever. Dever is an epidemic. Dever is a plague. The words that I say can create such destruction through those words. I have a friend, this isn't true, but it is an example. I have a friend who is in the middle of making a move, and she's working on packing. And her husband's not available. Her husband's not around. And I just say the words like, really? Your husband's not even helping you pack? Or, oh, wow, your husband didn't even join you or go with you to that doctor's appointment? It was a very light statement. But what did I just plant through that judgment in her head? I just planted oh, you know what? My husband's not really so there for me. Maybe that other person's husband would have made himself more available. Have I created total destruction? I haven't destroyed their marriage, but I have definitely created a wedge within their relationship. That's dever. It's such an innocent sentence, but that sentence has created destruction within a relationship between two people. If you live in Israel and you want to call an exterminator to get rid of your rodents or your insects, he uses Homer Hadbara, exterminating or wiping out material. Dever, dibur, is something that can destroy and doesn't even have to be in such a strong way. A shidduch that could potentially happen. And then somebody asks me about it and I'm like, I don't know about that family, or, I don't know if it's the greatest. Those words can end the shidduch. Now, sometimes it's important. Sometimes I need to create the impact of stopping something that's abusive or something that's really negative. But I have to just ask myself, what will the impact be? That's the opposite, as we said, of a dabar, a leader, or hadbara, where a person is leading in a positive direction. So the words are an ale. They are a power. They have the power to destroy. They have the power to build. And it's an interesting exercise for myself to just look, stop every half hour and ask myself, in the last half hour, what has the speech that I have spoken about created or impacted in a negative way? How have I used my speech to create a shidduch, to create positive feelings between a husband and a wife by just giving a compliment? And it's so easy. I can even just point out to somebody else something about their strengths. Wow, saying to the cook in the restaurant, you know what? That meal was really amazing. I really love the way you added the spices to you're making the cook feel the power of his accomplishments and what he is doing. It's so cheap and it's so easy just through words. Which is the chumash in which most of the averot happen with speech? The Avera of Korach, the rebellion, where he's using his speech to rile people up against Moshe. The Avera of Miriam, speaking Lashon Hara, where she wants to create positive effect, but instead of using her words to speak to Moshe, she's going and speaking to his brother Aaron. The Mitonanim, people complaining, where the complaining is not creating positive inspiration, it's just creating negative energy. All that happens in Chumash Bamidbar. Bamidbar has the word dibur right there at the end of the word, because a midbar is a barren place. It's an empty space. Nothing grows. The words that I use can create so much negativity in attitude and in feelings in other people, and it creates so much positivity. I love the feeling of just emailing somebody a compliment, texting somebody, because within seconds, you're creating so much positive feelings inside someone else in such an easy way. I see where I'm way over time. Wasn't watching the time. Let's end with this. When is it appropriate not to talk, to just be silent? So the Orchos Tzadikim says there are 4 time periods, particularly, when speech will not be building, will not be constructive. He says, number 1, if a person is going through suffering and they don't understand why. Aaron HaKohen, when he lost his 2 oldest children, and it was the day of the celebration of the Mishkan, there are no words at that moment and at that time that can build and explain, Hashem, why are you doing this? Where is this going? The answer is, I humbly, silently say, Hashem, I don't know, but I am not in charge of my life or the world and the universe. And that silence is the ability to say, I humbly surrender because I don't know. If someone is belittling me, there is nothing I can say at that point. That doesn't mean I should stand there and be belittled. I can cut out and leave the place or end my contact at that moment with that person. But to be able to respond, and attack back and have them attack back again is just going to escalate things, and it's not going to help build it. The ability to stay silent at that moment is an unbelievable power within myself to say, I'm not getting pulled in. They can go into anger mode. I am not. Number 3, in shul, when I'm davening and I'm trying to connect to Hashem, at that moment, nothing that I can talk about with someone else, the business, the sales, can be as impacting and as changing as the words that I use between me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And last but not least, if there's a wise person who is speaking, my speaking at that point will block my ability to take in and listen from them, and silence is the best mode. So when we started our class, we said, what are the things that motivate us and drive us to positive or to negative speech? And the answer is the same root. The root is the Tzelem Elohim. The Tzelem Elohim is a beautiful power that Hashem gave us, an ayil of a power of Elohim, of judgment. And that judgment is what makes us unique as humans, that we can judge and evaluate and make an impact and make a difference in this world. But that same power of judgment can be used to judge and then negatively destroy in such a big way. May we be zoche today and throughout our 3 weeks to just be more aware and conscious instead of doing it like as quickly as we do, and notice, wow, what did I just judge, and how did that judgment impact myself in the world? Thank you for being on, and thank you for learning with me today. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Rebbetzin, first of all, can we take a few questions, Rebbetzin? Is that okay with you?
Of course.
I just have to tell you, this was absolutely beyond brilliant and incredible.
I'm glad to share.
The way that you brought this forward, like in such a flow, piece by piece way, was just absolutely, I'm just speechless. Because you took the whole concept. It's just such an amazing, you just took it to a whole new level of understanding. And like everybody needs to understand this, because it can change completely on working on yourself, on the way that you respond to people, the way you think even about it, how you think, and the way that you brought out the word dibor in all those different ways, and how in the Hebrew language we see those words. That was just remarkable.
It's all Torah. It's so we are so blessed to have a sefer that gives us the deepest aspects of reality. It's amazing.
It was just amazing, and even the way you brought out in the beginning how we are in the form of God. Like I never even thought about that. Like the concept of Elohim, right? That is the word. So I have to just ask you a question, then I'm going to open up. People want to raise their hands. The question that I have is so interesting, is did Hashem create us in the image of judgment, through the image of judgment, because that was the way that he allowed us to have free choice? Like if he would have created us in the name of God that was only Rachamim, therefore that would have taken away our free choice. And therefore he created us in this way, because in order to maintain the free choice of man, and therefore our ability to earn it.
I love that point, and it's so true. It's very well targeted. Meaning, right, to be able to have free choice means the ability to think and evaluate, and and that is the goal of creation. And that's why really every time we're judging and thinking, we are really living the goal of creation. It's so true. You're right. That's such a good point. Thank you for noticing that, clarifying that.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. I don't even know what, I'm speechless. This was amazing. Sarah Malka, go ahead. Go ahead, Sarah Malka.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you so much. And I was looking at previously the next page in the Chufetz Chaim Sefer that we're reading, and I'll just read the title and the summary statement because it relates to what a lot of what you were saying. Which information is relevant? And then the summary statement: by no means does the Shidduch inquiry open the door for any and all types of information to flow back and forth among the concerned parties. So I thought that really related because we have a choice of what we say, and there's a whole page between the title and that summary statement.
Wow. Wow. So relevant. Thank you for finding something that really speaks.
Well, we just did the book together. We learned the 128 pages of the book every day together on Zoom.
Oh.
So yeah, so we read a lesson a day. So it's also amazing that this is what you're teaching us today. So it's so relevant to what we just finished. Unbelievable.
You really
Go ahead, Michaliba. Michaliba, you have to unmute. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, it takes me a second on my laptop. It's further away from my finger. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. This was incredible. And I'm sure it was very difficult doing this on a phone. I'm sorry that I didn't convey it was a Zoom
You probably
laptop
said it and I
situation.
probably missed it. It's totally fine. I think Baruch
So
Hashem.
sorry. Okay, thank you. And you managed to hold that paper. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. So my
Thank you
question is
for
like,
inviting us. Yeah. Thank you for
yes, I love learning from you always. When you're here in Philly, and oh my gosh, this is incredible. My question is like this: where does kol demama? I mean, this is not what you spoke about at all, but I want to understand where a kol demama daka would come in, because I feel like that's also a lesson to be learned. That we need to learn how to do that, to have a kol demama daka. It's either it's an imperative that we speak like that, or that we have to pause and be quiet so that we can hear a kol demama daka. I'm just curious what it even really is.
Wow.
Do
Wow.
you mind me putting that out there?
No, I think it's a great question. I can't say I can explain it in full. Like, it's not like I've learned it and researched it in full. But what I am thinking as you're asking it is, kol is different than dibur. Kol is the sound of the voice and the tone of the voice, which comes from a place that's beyond the articulation of the words. So the reason, like, we blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah is because after I spent all my time trying to articulate certain things in words, I humbly acknowledge that there is so much going on inside my inner self and my subconscious that's so beyond anything that I even can judge or access for myself. And that is expressed more deeply through the sound of my call than through the words that I'm trying to say. Because words are, in a certain sense, limiting. Words are trying to give a structure or a format. Last week, we went to a place in the Catskills that had such a stunning panoramic view that I just kept saying, I'm speechless, because I felt no words that I could try to say could capture the depths and the infinity of the impact and the experience that I just experienced with my eyes. I feel like that is more the kol demama daka, which is beyond the conscious level. It's coming almost from that. And I think the more we can slow down the physical expression of speech to try to dig deeper to where is this word coming from, I think when I analyze and try to say to myself, like, what's the feeling that's causing this? What's the trigger that's leading to this? I think that's more of that kol demama daka that's behind it. And then my words can be more accurate. And my words can be more clearly expressive because they're expressing something more authentic and that's like coming from a deeper place within myself. I also wanted to answer, I noticed that one of the women, Esty, I think, put on the chat a question about how does one exercise self-control when they're at that moment? What are practical ways we can control negative speech when angry? So from my own experience, I have found, let me just see how I get off of this, okay? I have found that once I'm in the moment of anger, and when I'm really angry, at that point, it is murder to try to exercise self-restraint. I find the more I'm self-aware of the anger starting to build as it's happening, at the moments when it's starting to build up, I have more control to be able to abort the process as it's happening. So I remember the social worker in Tag, Rebbetzin Shani Per from Campanos, once gave a workshop on anger, and she gave us homework. It was a 4-part workshop. The first day homework was only to try to be consciously aware of the physical sensations my body was experiencing as I was starting to feel angry. Meaning, am I feeling my heart beating faster? Am I feeling tension in my shoulders? Am I feeling this restless movement of, I need to move? As I'm feeling, now I said to her, like, oh, so what do we do with that? She said, don't do anything. The first step is just the self-awareness of noticing the feelings going on in my body as that anger is building. If I can catch that, the next level will be, what can I say to myself or talk to myself or pull myself physically out of that experience to stop the escalation of that into full-blown anger? Because once I'm into the full-blown anger, it is very hard. Now, to be able to even say to the other person or to myself, you know what, I feel myself getting really upset right now, and I don't want to talk to you when I'm in that mode. If you don't mind, I'm going to go have a cup of coffee. I'm going to go talk to my friends. I'm going to walk outside for a breath of air, and then we'll talk again another half hour. I know that one of my teachers in Masores Seminary, Rabbi Moshe Lazarus, used to tell us that if his kids did something that really triggered it, that really angered him, he would say, come back in half an hour to get your punishment. Because he didn't want to punish them at the moment that he was overcome by his own anger. And it takes time to talk to ourselves and to allow emotions to cool. But I think the sooner we catch it, the easier it is to be able to hold or restrain or guide myself. I'm becoming the dabar for my own self because I'm leading my own emotions and saying, okay, I'm not letting this part control me yet. I'm going to direct it. I sometimes think of it as the mashal. The first time I went horseback riding about 3-4 years ago in the Poconos, we were going with a group, and the horses, there were about 10 horses, and they were going to be all, traipsing through the forest, and every horse was supposed to follow the horse in front of it. So here I was on the back of my horse, and before I got on, the coach warned us, every once in a while, your horse may find this like yummy patch of grass on the side of the road that he decides he wants to go for a snack or a nut. Don't panic. He said, you have the reins. So pull the reins to the right, he'll move to the right, pull the reins to the left, he'll move to the left, pull the reins back, he will stop. So here we are, beautiful day, cool mountain air, sunlight coming through the trees, gorgeous, traipsing through, and I'm loving it. And all of a sudden, my horse decided, yummy patch of grass, he's going. And he didn't gallop, but he just started trotting off to the side. And my initial feeling was oh my goodness, I can't control this. Where's he going? He has a mind of his own. And then I remembered saying oh, I have the reins, and therefore I can pull to the right, and I pulled to the right, and I redirected him, and he went back. I think if I imagine my emotions or my body, my desire to have this chocolate cake, or my desire to say this thing, if I say, you know what, this is my horse. It's not me. It's my horse, my physical part of self, which isn't bad. It just wants to do its own thing. It wants to graze. It wants to eat this thing. But my frontal lobe cortex, my mind, I am the leader. I am my judgment. I'm going to decide right now, am I going to follow this horse pull? And sometimes I will. Or am I going to redirect it and lead it to somewhere else? So if I'm kind of separating in my consciousness. It's not like I am angry or I went, oh, my horse is feeling angry right now. Oh, my horse is feeling desirous right now. Oh, my horse is feeling tired right now. Okay, I can take care of the horse. Maybe I'll let it go to sleep. It needs sleep, of course. Oh, my horse is hungry. I'm going to feed it. What am I going to feed it? But if I separate my mind from my horse, I'm able to recognize it as two separate entities.
You know what also, Rebbetzin, also, it's so interesting because we talk about this a lot in the script because we have so many different types of speakers. And one of the things that I've been able to do, and we're gonna, right after this, Michal Liba is gonna be the last one, and then we're gonna go on to finish Tefillah. But what I try to do,
question.
what I try to do is, no, we can't after Michal Liba. What I try to do is I try at that moment that I'm feeling the anger is that I go into myself and I'm thinking, where is this really coming from, right? What is it in me that this is really, that I'm really responding to this in this way? And then that calms me down because I think what is it within me, what need in me is not being met? What place am I actually going to? Because it's really, no one can hurt us, right? Or no one can really aggravate us unless they're touching a part of us inside that has not been yet, that is still in a certain place or pain, or has not been, I don't want to use the word rectified, but it has not been, what's the word I'm looking for? Can somebody, Michal Liba, help me out here? And it's so interesting because I sent Michal Liba the other day this beautiful little video, and that was exactly what it is. It's not healed. It's a part of yourself, and that's another way. So it's not really separating it from your mind. It's really just understanding that it's not who you are, right? It's just the feeling or the experience or the way that you're experiencing it because of those parts of yourself that have not been healed yet.
It's beautifully put. That is so beautiful. And I guess I'll just add one other thing. Usually what triggers anger is when we feel disempowered by someone else. And it's a desperate attempt to reclaim that power. And if I just say to myself, you know what? The greatest power I will now exercise is the power of maintaining my own self-boundaries and maintaining my response, meaning knowing that I can control, even when I'm triggered emotionally, I can not respond in a certain way. That's also such a feeling of empowerment. I don't have to go there. So it's not like I'm giving up being empowered. I'm expressing a higher form of power because I don't have to be exploding.
I'm actually taking back my power.
Right.
And the reason I'm taking back my power is because I'm not allowing the other person to define my inner world. I'm actually controlling my own inner world. Right?
Excellent.
I can't control my outer world, but I can control my inner world.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Michal Liba, go ahead. Last one.
I don't want to finish this off. Naomi, I think I think what you just said is like everything because it's so true, especially having learned together as a group, us lovely ladies, as a family here, and we're learning about Shmiras Halashon. I've really explored this beautiful reclaiming of myself by not sharing, even with my husband, which I think is the hardest when you really just like, you want to say that so badly about like what someone said or how you felt like someone should have done something else, blah, blah, blah. And you just hold back. It is very empowering. And I really hear what she's saying. Naomi, what you're saying, I'm saying is that feeling of like we're impacting the world just through our shtika, like let's just even think about that. It's like incredible.
But it's also when you talk about someone and you go into that place, and if you actually go into your own self, you'll realize that the only reason you're talking about that person is because you feel, like she said, disempowered. And therefore, that's almost the way that you think you have to regain your power. It's really amazing. And when we realize that, we won't do it because we take back our own power because it doesn't define us anymore.
Right. Beautiful.
Okay, Rebbetzin, this was so unbelievable. Michaliba, I can't thank you enough. Amazing, amazing. Rebbetzin, will you come back in Elul and give us something so amazing? Like, you talk about, it's so interesting because you spoke about the power we have with what we did. You just empowered, there was at one point 103, 104 women on. You just empowered 104 women to change the way that we respond, change the way we even think about how we think, change the way that we understand what it means to be in the form of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the different ways that he gave that to us, and how we can impact the world, how every moment we have that ability to impact the world in a positive way. And just being in the moment, like giving us the ability, you just gave us all this ability to be in the moment and to really stop in that moment and to really think about what we're doing. So it's not just building the world, it's building us individually and collectively. And I cannot thank you enough. This was so brilliant and so necessary and so beautiful. Talk about being speechless. I feel
I have to say the nicest gift I think you can give anybody who's teaching or giving something over is reflecting back that it made a difference and that you really got and grasped your articulation of what the main points were gives me such a warm feeling, because it's so nice to know that it really, really was received and really absorbed. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be part of such an amazing group.
And will you come back, Rebbetzin and Elul, please? Please. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Contact the Rebbetzin.
Oh, if you want to contact me, you can either email me. My email is my husband's name, Yinon, spelled Yinon.
Should I take us off on live stream while you give that out?